meant.
You better know what I mean, because I don't know what I mean. Wow. We're going to talk about freeze drying, books, Dungeons and Dragons, shenanigans. What's going on today, Kerry?
Apparently a lot of shenanigans. So our guest today freeze dries meat and writes fantasy novels. I feel like that's like movie line where it's like, I've come here to freeze dry meat and write fantasy novels, and I'm all out of meat. So today we're going to talk about both. We'll start with the novel. Gabrielle Wanek is a debut fantasy novelist, and her first book, Songs of Ash and Dawn, is out now. It blends modern Midwest life with ancient mythology, and book 2 is in the works. So stick around. We're going to talk about it all.
Hi everyone, Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gargone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show.
Who'd you look at today?
I looked at our friend John Bailey, Epic Voice Guy, and I was thinking about how he's made he's done the voice of Jeff the Shark a lot lately, so his world seems to be a little more Jeff the Shark than it ever used to be, but you still get to hear him in honest trailers, so what's not to love? How about you?
Let's see. I think it was Horacio Garcia Rojas, the Mexican horror comedy actor who was in Diablero. But I was also looking at my office and being like, miss you, because I used to have a really nice office.
I was going to say hi to my dad. Might be a little proximate today. And Mr. Bear is here, becoming the Bear. Good to see you again. Hope you're well. He gets in here. What time is it there? It's 8 o'clock on his coast, so it's good to see him. Let's grab Gabrielle Wanek and bring her out. We've got a lot of things to ask her, so we might as well not delay too much longer. Gabrielle, welcome on board the Backpack Show. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Avid readers, both of us.
That's good. Keeps you busy.
So right out of the gate here, your book just launched, The Songs of Ash and Dawn, yes. Fantasy, modern Midwest meets ancient mythology. So there's a lot to kind of unpack, a lot of world building happening. Mm-hmm. You have talked in the past about how COVID isolation shaped some of those themes. And I wonder, do you think it, like, obviously for the better, or do you think it made it a little darker than it might have been otherwise? Like, just tell me how it all came to pass.
Wow, we're going right into the hard questions. So basically, this is not the first draft, obviously. It was originally a little bit darker and a little bit more isolation. I actually went through with it, wrote it out, at least a good chunk of it, and then put a pause on it because COVID just didn't end. And so then I went back after that, and once we got a little bit more stable and like, oh, wow, this is super dark. Let's redo that a little bit. But the isolation is a major part of the entire beginning of the book.
I was thinking that now. So I'm listening to the first few chapters thinking, this is pretty dark. So the fact that it was darker before has me a little scared. But I think there's good things coming. The characters are very interesting. Each of them has their own kind of way into the world. It doesn't feel as though you built the story around one and then the others were just like also there. It very much feels like you come to the center of the world through all of their perspective. Is that right? Do you have a favorite, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Do I have a favorite? How far are you into it?
Few chapters. I don't want to know if Ethan dies. Don't tell me.
So I really like Aiden. Aiden was based off of me. Cora was kind of her own thing, but my actual favorite characters, which gets me some flack sometimes, is the shadows in the beginning.
The bad guys for anybody.
Well, I had heard that you kind of tend towards the villains a little bit more in general anyway.
You can't have a good story without a good villain.
Well, then that begs the question, who are some of your favorite villains, literary or movies or both? You know, who's kind of like your go-to Mount Rushmore of villains?
My favorite, it's so cliche, is Scar from The Lion King, the original. It's just, he's great at what he does.
He's great at what he does. He's great at ruining lives.
Well, it's like
top notch.
the manipulation is on point. It's just his creepy vibe, plus his song is just phenomenal. You can never
That's
go
fair
wrong
enough.
with that.
He does rule a diverse kingdom.
He
Feel like we
does,
have to
and then
give him-
somehow screwed it up.
I mean, it's a difficult job. So this is interesting for me because I've never written fiction, not since I was, a kid. And the two of you are both writing fiction right now. So I feel like I should just go settle down and like watch you guys talk.
I think that fiction readers, and Kerry reads a great deal. I think, as you probably said yourself, Gabrielle, there's a lot of when people ask a question about writing, the first thing everyone says is read, because if you're not in it, if you're not consuming a lot, and it does not count to watch things, because sure, you get the sense of a story, but book stories are dramatically different than the shape of a script.
Oh yeah.
But I imagine that if someone's an avid reader, I do think they get a vote, don't you?
I think so.
They get a vote. I mean, we've all been dragged along through some pretty complex journeys reading. Who actually were your early readers for this book, and how much did they change it, like from what your original?
Test read it. My mother mostly test read it, and the first chapter, as you've already read, was twice as long. And she came back to me, not finished it, and said, "You need to redo this." And I'm like, "Why? What's wrong with it?" She's like, "It's really dark and really gory. Make it less."
I'm on chapter 3 with Cora, so. But
Well,
thank your mother.
well,
Thank your mother for me.
I think
There are
she's
so many ways to.
I think she's
Sorry?
actually listening. I think
Oh,
she's actually listening.
yeah.
She said she'd listen. So
Oh, fun. There's a lot of ways to write a book. There's people who put out every single element. There's a lot of people who I think procrastinate when writing fiction books, wherein they'll do their world building and it'll be hundreds and hundreds of pages of world building. They haven't written a page yet of the book, which are you. And how do you compare this to your life in gaming, for instance?
So recently I sat down and at book 3, I sat down like, I should probably write how this world works. And I'm like, I'm already 2 books deep. Let's figure that out before we go further. So
Otherwise, you're going to end up on a wiki. You'll be like trying to find other people talking about the history of your own book so you can remember where you were at with these characters.
I now have over a 300-page document by itself of the lore of the world.
The Bible. It's like a Bible.
It's a Bible.
Yeah.
But it has
Well,
all the characters, all the magics, everything. So I'm like, I just have to click into what I need.
Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather, also did the screenplay for The Godfather, and he was so like freaked out by the end of it. He was just like, "Oh my gosh, I've got to go." They asked him to do Godfather 2, and he said, "I better go learn how to write screenplays." So he signs up for a course. He sits down to the course. They drop the Godfather screenplay on his desk with everyone else and say, "This is how you're going to learn how to write a screenplay." And he went, "Oh," and so he just didn't even bother taking the course. So you've gone at the end of book 3 and figured out lore. I think you've discovered a lot of things along the way with Songs of Ash and Dawn. One was that it turned out this book was a lot more about grief than you thought it was going to be. I have this feeling that was not a plan originally. So talk about that for a second.
So the original plan was it was supposed to be 3 books. And it somehow keeps growing because I also mapped out the entire arc of the series. And it's now up to 10.
I love that as a reader, by the way, because there's nothing worse than finishing a fantastic book where you felt so immersed in the world and then being like, oh no, it's over. What do I do?
Well, I think it felt like if we were to end it any sooner, the story wouldn't work. It's like there was too much going on, too many plot holes, everything like that. It just didn't work.
When we're talking plot holes, do you mean like the occasional, like, so you've got it all mapped out now. Do some of them feel not as central to the story, or do you go down kind of side journeys? Are we going to get a Geordi episode, I guess, is what I'm asking. Like if you're a Star Trek Next Generation fan, every once in a while, there would be an episode that was just about Geordi. Okay, cool. Because I actually love this.
Because in order to go into the history, we have to. We have to go into the past, into other characters, not just Korra and Aiden.
In putting together sort of folk stuff, folk magic, ancient things and all that, now there's so many better tools to do research for this sort of a thing. In the old days, there was a lot of library hours. When you do it, how much do you want to stay accurate to these sorts of things, or how many times do you put a twist on it? And how many times have you felt like, well, this isn't going to work for my world, so I'm going to bend it a little, and then you just wonder that if everyone else is going to be along for that ride?
So I try to stay mostly accurate, but the personalities of the characters are different. It's like specifically like later in the series, we take a very accurate mythological character and twist them enough to be like to fit into where they shape. But the gist of it is they're still their character. So they still have all the aspects. They're still accurate to mythology. They still have all their companions, things like that.
I have to read this because Jackie says apparently Lion King is Hamlet with fur, which I had not spotted until recently. I have not thought that until I just saw it typed out right there.
The thing, it's Hamlet.
Now I can't not think it though.
No, they're right. It is Hamlet.
Yeah.
Hate that information.
So I feel like I was today old when I learned that, and I will never forget it. Gabrielle, so I have a lot of questions now, but you know how when people get touchy about vampire rules because Twilight has different vampire rules than other series, is there anything in your series that people are going to get twitchy about because the rules of magic or mythology are different in your universe?
So I get the question. So it has, I'm trying to find a way to describe this correctly. So it's been with mythology, with how many generations it's been, things have adapted and changed. That's how I was able to get away with a little bit more than I was. So everyone's kind of intermingled, socialized with each other, and this is over centuries. So they're not pure for the most part.
I mean, who among us is, Gabrielle?
Exactly. That was the point. It's like I'm taking from the US, so why not make it a melting pot?
But there's magic, which is totally unassailably cool because you can do literally whatever you want with it. Some people have wands. I'm reading another series that, for an author we interviewed that uses like starlight. They call it celestial magic, where you draw sigils. There's artifacts, like in your books. How did you choose? Like, how did it come to you, this universe?
I wanted to be. So when I really started researching, this was before the characters and story was even around, I noticed that specifically I noticed basically in every single culture had a form of dragon. And I wanted to say, why does every culture have that type of species? And then the more I dug in, the more I realized, oh, there's werewolves in almost every culture. Oh, there's this in almost every culture. And I wanted to combine that all into one world. And me selecting, like, picking an artifact specifically was just an easier way of harnessing the magic that is over generations of years old. Yeah, I know you're showing it. The Audible is out today. Yes.
Just showing it because I don't have the actual book in my hand, which normally I would show. So I want people to see the cover so that they can go get it. Is why.
Oh, look at that. One range is handy.
Oh, well, you have that handy.
I have a few.
You're muted.
Scattered all around.
The other thing I was thinking is I was looking at your Instagram and that one about working on the laptop, at the book's right there, and they keep looking over at the book because the book is calling to them. I really love that. How has your Instagram book marketing felt like? Tell me a little bit about that story.
My Instagram footmark. What do you mean?
You're putting stuff on Instagram to convince people to want to buy the book, and I am going to presume you're not a marketer by trade, nor by disposition. So how has it been in your mind going, oh, I have to do the thing now. I have to do the thing that I cringe sometimes when I see other people do it, but I need to because they're going to buy the book. How's that going for you?
It has its moments where it's like, oh, yeah, I can maybe get away with this with doing this in the house. And just not show anything. And then there's other times where I'm like, oh, I have to go out in public and do this. I don't want to do that.
But really, you're doing people a favor, Gabrielle, because it is a fun, immersive world, and I feel like people in general could use a little escapism right now.
Yeah.
So just one girl's opinion, but I appreciate how active you are on Instagram and other places talking about the book, because I think more people should read it. We have some comments. I suspect you might know Megan. Tell us more about the mythologies you referenced in the books.
The mythologies, like runes, like
they want it all. Megan wants it all. But you know what? Just get the Bible. Just get it.
I can't get the Bible because it's on this thing and I closed it.
I told Gabrielle close it. Now it's ruining everything. So definitely, you do mention the fact you just talked about the fact that you're sourcing things from different places. So runes stronger in Celtic, but there's hieroglyphs, which are
there's hieroglyphs, there's runes, there's Celtic, there's Roman, there's Egyptian, I have Chinese later in the series. I have I'm blanking. I have Aztec somewhere. It's like I just pull from every direction because the cultures, again, it's like the US, specifically where I put it, is a melting pot. It's like, so why wouldn't we use every single available item, which also makes it 10 times harder to do in writing. But it's also more fun because I can sit down and flip through hundreds or search hundreds of different things and be like, oh, this thing does this thing exactly the same as this thing. Now I get to choose which one looks cooler.
What's the process you come across, unless you've always studied mythology and been super into it, in doing the research for this? What were you like, holy cow, I did not know this was a thing, and now I need to write it in immediately?
I can't tell you. Because
spoiler, because it's a spoiler. Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll accept that answer. But when you come back to talk about book 2, then you have to,
yes,
unless it's in book 2. Okay, cool. We can talk about it then. So what's your process like for writing then? Do you just disappear into your room for weeks and weeks, or do you go to coffee shops, or are you writing on every little scrap of paper? Is it all laptop based? Like, what's your process overall to get into something like this?
Laptop, because I go so fast, my hand can't keep up. And so like my brain will be a page and a half ahead and my hand's still a page and a half back, just because I'm a super slow writer to begin with. And I'm like, okay, let's just keyboard. But I mostly work out of the home. I work from home. I do my things. I have my dogs, so they keep me busy. And I try to work about 4 to 5 hours a day on the book. Put on music, put on podcasts, put on whatever, and just go. Yeah.
So not a number of pages like Stephen King, just a certain amount of time?
Like the other week, specifically, I was working on the next book, and I sat down. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get 1 chapter done. I got 3.5 done. I'm like, oh, I should probably stop.
In this bunch of notes we have for you, there's this whole bunch about you do a lot of freeze drying.
Yes.
And for the amount of notes we have, it seems like an inordinate amount of freeze drying, because otherwise, why would we have lots of notes about this? Like, this is like, you are a serious freeze dryer. Why am I asking you this question? What tell me a little bit about you, the freeze dryer, I guess.
So I got the freeze dryer as a gift because my aunt mistakenly ordered 2. And she didn't want to send the other one back. So she texted into the group chat, does anyone want this other freeze dryer? And no one answered. And I said, I'll take it.
That's it? That's the story? That's amazing.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
And
well, so in that realm, what was your first freeze drying absolute mistake, and what was your first freeze drying big win that you were like, this is the best?
So I tried to make homemade chicken. Was it beef or chicken? It was like a bouillon. I made homemade bouillon, and I put it in there, and I was so confident, and it exploded all over the machine. And it took 40 minutes to clean it out. And then I eventually figured it out. I figured it out. I figured out how to do it, but it took me 4 separate times to figure it out.
It made me think of a story when my mom got her first microwave. This is before anyone had microwaves. This is like we were probably the one person on the whole block to have one. And she takes an egg, puts the egg in the microwave, pushes, I don't know, 5 minutes or something, and goes.
Oh no.
And as we now all know, because we've had microwaves for decades, none of that is how one uses a microwave. And so we've got a really good, fast, early cleaning. So it sounds like, you had a similar story.
What he's trying to say is he's so mad at me, Gabrielle, because I had so many questions about freeze drying meat and other things you might freeze dry, and he didn't understand why. And I was like, because who does that is why. I was
also
interested.
Dehydrate. So I make homemade fruit leathers, I make jerkies, I make different things.
See, there's a lot to unpack here, Mr. Brogan. So excuse me for being interested.
I'm going back to the book. Although I do feel like around your D&D table, if you're bringing your own fruit leathers and your own jerkies, then it's got to be the cool place to
I
play.
also do freeze-dried candy.
Oh, now you've got Kerry.
Way to bury the lead on that one. So okay, if somebody has never read, since someone's making me go back to the book, if somebody has never read like the fantasy books, and you want them to read Songs of Ash and Dawn, what's the pitch? No, it's not you, it's me. I'm just like,
pitch?
I wanted to talk about freeze drying is the problem.
We can talk about freeze drying if you want to.
No, it's okay. Tell me. So what's the pitch for the book for someone who's like not read fantasy novels and maybe is ready to try one?
So the pitch is all of mythology put in today's modern era and how it's changed over the centuries and millennia. And it follows two heroines going through figuring out the magic system and their place in the world.
Right, because they come along to this magic. It is not like inherent, and it sure isn't like, Muggle under the stairs. It is, you said this, what was it? Power awakens like roughly or meanly or something like that.
Power doesn't awaken gently.
That's okay. It's
on the back of the book.
Well, I don't get the book. I have the back of this phone, which does not have it. So the other thing I was thinking when I read this was when I read the sample chapters, because I didn't read your book, the thing I heard about and thought about was books that I liked growing up. I liked Susan Cooper, The Dark is Rising. I loved that whole concept of like this like country magic, let's say, because you put this as sort of a Midwestern tale and all that, but then pull it in from a lot of places because of where you were in the woods and all that. How important is the setting to this? And does this possibly intimate that we might get a little more global as these books keep going?
Like, I wanted specifically, it's where I grew up. It's where I knew the area and I wanted it to feel like home. And it does. I tried to emphasize that throughout the first book, that it feels like home to a degree. But I also wanted the eeriness of the forest. So that's what that was. And being able to follow into all that, and the eeriness and isolation of it is just its own thing.
So when you meet someone and you're like, well, I don't know how often this happens to you, but you get stuck next to somebody and they're like, what do you do? Do you tell them you're an author? Do you go into it? Or are you like, okay, because now the book is out.
Now the book's out.
You were a writer years ago, because you're a writer when you write, and that's all that is required.
Yeah, but it's different saying that, and then they ask you if you published, and you have to say no.
I mean, that's true, but these days you could just say yes. Who would know? Papa Brogan says, I still use the microwave for cooking eggs, but about 27 seconds in a special ceramic device made for that purpose, given to me by my brother and sister-in-law. So we have all the details now on how to cook eggs in the microwave, in case anybody's wondering. And Jackie said, Dark is Rising is an old favorite.
Young Will Stanton, The Woods, Crows, Iron, having a very different power setup than the rest of the magic. There's a lot to it. I was thinking about that a bit in kind of discovering folklore, but then when you described it, It was interesting because it made me think a little bit about Sinners, and very specifically that scene in the song that plays in Sinners, where it kind of shows the through line of all these different cultures and all that. Have you, so whenever I talk about a band with somebody else, the only question you ever ask about a band is, oh, well, who would they open for, or what are they like? And if someone says no one, then either they don't listen to music or it's a horrible band. So who's your book on the shelf next to? Who, if you go to, put a 3-book package together and only one of them's yours and you throw the ribbon around it, what are the other 2 books in there?
I feel like you can never go wrong with Lord of the Rings with Tolkien. Never go wrong with that one. The other one is actually hidden back there. You can't really see it. Is Ranger's Apprentice from John Flanagan. That was one I grew up with and that I read a lot. You can kind of see it.
I was really trying. I made it bigger to try and see. So interested readers can go and get their 3 non-audio chapters. But if you're like me and you listen to audiobooks almost exclusively because you're a painfully slow reader, then you can get the Audible version of Songs of Ash and Dawn, which is out today.
Yes.
I believe we have one other question that we have to ask, Christopher.
Okay.
Do you mean the question that I ask every single guest? Because if so, we were missing a couple other steps of this fun thing. But there's Kate. Hi, Kate. Good morning to you. All right. Well, so first, I have to do one thing that we did not do.
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
I am going to give our person of the day to the suspicious Megan Cleary person who we never saw before.
No.
Very cool.
Wait, who did the cover? Who we never got an answer.
It was, I have it here. This is why I have it here. Her name is Zelda Devon. And she's out in California.
Not to be confused with Link. It's actually Zelda this time.
Yes.
Hi, Megan. So you win person of the day, which what that entitles you to is a free apple. Just go into any old store, grab the apple, and run. You do not have to wash it or anything. Just eat it. It's delicious. It'll be perfectly fine. I did forget a couple things. I forgot to talk about our sponsors. One of them is Chloe Forbes-Kindlen, who couldn't be here today, but hi, Chloe. If you want to learn a little bit about business operations for your small business, this is a great way to go. This is Notion. Chloe is an incredible Notion wizard. You can go to businessops.co/backpack and put together your really wonderful Notion kit. Our other sponsor is Fazia Burke, who is a good book publicist who is also now starting to show people a little bit about how to use AI to help in much more interesting and practical and grounded ways. So go to faziaburke.substack.com.
Good book publicist. She's a phenomenal book publicist. She did it for decades. Chris, a little respect for Fazia.
She's done. She gave it up. She's done. She moved on. She's doing other stuff. But yeah, she brought us a lot of our wonderful author guests and just did an incredible job of getting them into even more vaunted places than Ye Olde Backpack Show. So I am so glad to have had you here today, but we do ask every single guest who ever comes to the show, Gabrielle Wanek, one last question, which is, what goes in your backpack? Now, this could be something physical, like a sword. It could be something metaphorical, like dreams. What would you want to add to the backpack today?
I feel like you can never go wrong with your pets, with your dogs.
I mean, you definitely can't leave them at home, can you?
No.
Especially not if one of them's in that cone of shame. Like, you've got to take extra special care of them.
And who keeps running into every single wall.
You know, I have to give you extra respect because you didn't say a copy of my book, of course, Songs of Ash and Dawn. You would be amazed how often it happens.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah, we until we had a chance to meet you, we didn't know how many people wanted to put the Song of Ash and Dawn in their book backpack too. It was really strange, but now we know who you are. Now we understand why they wanted it. We're just messing with you. Okay. Well, I do have one other thought, which is that in regards to putting this kind of a thing together, and with all the different and interesting worlds that you've put together, one thing I think when I look at fantasy books is I always want to know, what's the turn in the road that'll leave people wanting to keep reading? Because this is a world where, reading is a very minimalized entertainment for a lot of people, except for when you find the really hardcore readers. And I definitely, oh, look at that. My dad's a new purchaser. So I will say that one of the things that really, I think, keeps people moving along in these worlds to learn is if you put together some kind of a cliffhanger. So I have a question about your book. Is there a cliffhanger?
Wow, people won't see that coming.
That was a good one.
But, as